Alrighty, welcome back. So this episode is going to be the cluster Bs. You've got your borderline, your narcissist, your sociopath. Technically, histrionic is a part of the group, but me personally, I don't include it. One, because in my 13 years of treatment, psych wards, all of these things that I've gone through, I've never once met anybody who was actually diagnosed with histrionic or even seen anybody like talk about like, oh, I'm diagnosed histrionic. Like, to me, it's just, I grew up in LA. It's like a drama queen, or somebody who just, I want to be a star, somebody give me attention. Like, what was his name? The guy who used to suck on the cow nipples. My bum is on your lips. Like, it's like whatever they'll have to do for attention. But I mean, I can see where it could become a disorder. And I looked at it like I got confused, like, what's the difference between a borderline and a histrionic at certain times, as far as the diagnosis? Why did they segregate the two? But then I realized, like, when I hear stories about somebody, like, doing a suicide attempt for attention, that to me, I don't know, as a borderline and every borderline I've ever known, or you look at Marilyn Monroe or Anna Nicole, or, like, people who are true borderlines, like, they're not doing it for attention. Like, they literally want to die, or they feel that awful. That's where they're at that point. But I could see somebody, based on the textbook definition of a histrionic, doing that, like, oh, I need attention, so I'm gonna, do a fake, when somebody wants to die, like, literally. But anyways, that's the only way I would, in my experience, be able to understand, I guess, histrionic being a personality disorder. But, otherwise, it's a drama queen. I don't know. Go to LA. Everybody's like that. Point is, so, to the ones I do know about. So borderline, narcissist, and sociopath. What's funny to me is they say that none of the names make sense, but here's how it makes sense to me. Sorry, I'll just go right to the point. Borderline to me, even though that's not why it was named that, to me it's borderline narcissist. They're half empath and half narcissist, and they're sitting there going back and forth trying to figure out which side to choose throughout their lives, pretty much. They have full-on narcissist traits when they want to, and they have full-on empathic traits, like totally normal, I care about you, I love you, traits. Narcissist, I think it actually fits because if you look at the story of Narcissus and Echo, it's not about him loving himself. It's about the fact of him looking in the river and getting stuck on himself. Once he looked into the river, he couldn't see anything else, and he stayed there and stuck there till he became a flower. People with narcissistic personality disorder, it's almost like they can't even see you. Anything you say, they think it must be about them. Anything that happens at all, it has to be about them in their mind. They're stuck on themselves, just like if you were to look into the river and see your reflection and be stuck. And sociopaths, to me, from what I understand, like in my experience, every sociopath I've ever met, to me, I feel like everybody's met them. It's the idea or the personality type, what they are in real life. It's like that bully in school, the person who just picked on people or stole their money or, like acted up. I don't know, he's probably the kid smoking cigarettes in elementary school or, people who set cats on fire, things like that. And that's actually what doctors look for when they make the diagnosis, is that kind of behavior. But the thing is, if you really think about those bullies in school, they didn't really socialize or, they weren't like, there was no charisma, no charm, So just think about that when they become adults. How awkward is that? Because you need to be able to, hold a job or, get a job or things like that. So every sociopath I've ever known, or I should say antisocial personality disordered person that I've ever known with the diagnosis, they were always asking questions, and it's, just about everything. And that's almost like how they fit in. Like, oh, what do you think of this? Or what do you think of that? What do you think of this? They don't actually have their own opinion. They're almost like trying to study yours. Some people say it's to get at you. I think it's because they actually don't know. Their parents were usually big bullies themselves or drug dealers or usually, it's like those kind of people, Sociopaths grow up to become like their father who's the drug dealer or, chopping cars or whatever. Like the ones that I've met, sorry, at least in my opinion. So they're actually studying people and socializing because they don't really know how they're supposed to act. It's so like, so to me, what brings the three together is actually narcissism. So you got the borderline that's like half narcissist, half empath. You have the narcissist who knows empathy, but they swore off of it. Somebody hurt them bad and they know what it is, but they swore they will never feel it again and they'd rather die before they had empathy again, And then to me, there's the sociopath who almost is like, it's like, have you ever had a friend that, you know, spoke fluent Spanish until they were 5 and then they stopped or they moved to another country and then, you know, they forgot. They just never used it. So when they became an adult, it's like, I used to speak Spanish. At least I heard I did. It's like, that's how I look at a sociopath with empathy. So it's like they may have known what it was, but they never used it growing up. You know, it wasn't a part of their everyday life. So they're actually having to relearn it because it's an asset as an adult. So to me, that's the difference between the three. It's actually their empathy level. And then what brings them together is their narcissism. They all have the narcissism. All of them want to be, I think a sociopath a narcissist wants to be, what's the word? Admired. You know what I mean? Like put on a pedestal. They want to be the best. And then a borderline, they genuinely want the love. But it's where the focus comes from. Like I was watching, it's kind of funny. I was watching Mommy Dearest the other day, trying to do my own clinical diagnosis of her. And I read some of the reviews online or the papers done by some of the psychiatry students. And I was just blown away because I actually disagreed with a lot of them. They were saying that she was OCD because of the way she was cleaning the floor. And I was like, no, every narcissist, they have perfectionism. They have to be perfect for their own, you know what I mean? Like someone damaged them to the point where they have to be perfect. Everything's perfect. You know, it's not what they said or whatever they said or put them down or made them feel that way. They're overcompensating for it. So they become perfectionists. They have to have the perfect clothes. They have to look perfect. They have to have the perfect boyfriend. They have to have the perfect everything because everything has to be perfect, you know? That's not OCD though. OCD is like, oh my gosh, it has to be clean because I don't like state, you know, it's similar, but it's not the same. You know what I mean? Or they were saying, because when the boyfriend left, the mother, she was borderline because she was saying like, I didn't mean it. It's like, no, there's a difference between like a borderline begs and pleads. Like, no, please come back. I need you. Like, I will die without you. And then a narcissist goes, wait, you're my supply. Like, I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, you're my resource here. You can't be walking out of here. Where am I going to get money? You know? But if you walk out the door, they're going to put their nose up and be like, I told you. In my opinion, Joan Crawford was a classic narcissist above, if not all other things. What really disappointed me about some of the papers I read was they were saying she was bipolar because she would switch from one mood to another. I'm going to get into that in a whole nother video just because I'm bipolar and borderline personality disorder. But to me, it's such a difference. Like just because you shift moods doesn't make you bipolar. Actually, bipolar is a longer cycle, which really disappointed me because these are the psychiatry students who are saying this. We go through cycles of, you know, like days to weeks. And for her to switch, you know, like in a heartbeat like that's not, I don't think that's ever really bipolar. It shifts. It's like a slow wave. You know what I mean? Now, borderline, that can shift in an instant. But I'll save that for another video. Thanks for stopping by.